Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Something very, very different today. Very different, I guess, because we've never done this before, because it's the first episode of a new show in the podcast. I like doing new things. I like when I get new ideas, I like to try and make them happen. Much like the podcast, I think, as a sort of a broader look at it. I mean, I had an idea to do a podcast. I just cracked on straight away and got on with it. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We are doing a new show called The Ranking Show. Originally I was going to call it The Rank Show, and then I realised that probably wouldn't be the best name for something. That's, I guess, completely the opposite of The Rank Show. It's not rank, it's actually fantastic. Because we're going to be ranking the players, I guess like player ratings, but over each match week. There's going to be, it's very simple. It's a rank list of 10, so a top 10 for each week. And after every week, those players will be sort of moved up and down the scale. So, for example, if somebody is in match week number 1 or whatever this is, because obviously we are a few weeks in now, so this rank score today is going to be based on the whole season so far, but say I do it again next week, the player that's ranked number 1 in this episode, next week, that player who doesn't have such a good week and another player overtakes them, they may fall, a few places down the pecking order, and the new players might step up. So the season to start with, I could lie and say that the reason why I've done this is because started this down the line is because I let a few players sort of find their feet and then we do the first one, but that would be completely lying. The actual reason why I haven't done it is because I've only just thought of the idea and I wanted to crack straight on with it this week so I can get it done as quickly as possible so that we get the best ranked score eventually over the season. Until we create one of the best ranking scores we've done that can be made over the season. Instead of just doing a random one at the end of the season saying this was our best player, we can see over time who's been the most consistent, who's been in the top 10 for the longest. It's it's very similar to how songs work in the charts. How long can that player stay in the charts? If you watch the United Stand, Manchester United fan channel, which this isn't it by any stretch of the imagination. This is certainly not anything like it, but it is sort of similar in the sense that I wanted to sort of do that sort of thing. I didn't want to copy exactly what it is. I didn't want to copy all of the elements to it, and I didn't want to copy the name, obviously. Hence why this is called the Oxford United Ranking Show. But anyway, a little bit different. The reason why I'm recording this a little bit, I'm recording this on Sunday night, so I'm really not sure when this could go up because I'm actually going away for a few days. From Monday until Thursday. We have got a game in between that as well, a Tuesday night game against Charlton, in which there'll be a preview for that, but the match reaction behind that might be a little bit lost, mainly due to the fact I'm not going to be in here to be able to film it and record it and sort of properly do the podcast for it. So that could be a bit different. That could be the first one where there isn't a match reaction for it. There might be. I'm not going to put anything on it, but it's going to be interesting to see how I sort of pull that out if I do. If not, there'll definitely be a match preview for that because I'm recording this straight after this, hence why I'm going to be wearing the exact same Oxford United top in the next one. I do wash, I do change my clothes. It's just that I've got to get this done and scheduled out quicker because we've got to get the new ones out. Anyway, I've been waffling for 3 minutes. We haven't even cracked on with the ranking show. But yes, every single week, fingers crossed, we'll be doing the ranking show where we basically rank each of the players in the top 10 scale, and obviously as the season goes on they'll move up and down that scale, hopefully, if the season continues, obviously, and it doesn't get postponed before then. That would be a disaster, but we will be talking more about that as well, because obviously Oxford United would have had another game that we could have taken into consideration for this ranking against Swindon, but that won't be the case because that was postponed, unfortunately, as well. But anyway, we can come on to that a little bit in the preview. I'm not going to talk about it now because you're here to hear the rankings for this season so far, and then obviously from then on it will be weekly, and those players as the match weeks go on. Very, very simple. Hopefully you understand the way this works as well. I mean, this series could flop, or this show, this sort of thing could flop. I mean, swings and roundabouts. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it's something you want to see more of. I'm probably going to continue anyway, whether or not it gets the numbers, because to be honest with you, I'm not too worried about the numbers. I don't really care about that. I'm enjoying myself, and the people that watch it, as long as you're enjoying it when you're watching it, I couldn't really care less. But if there are lots of people watching it, that's fantastic, and hopefully the main thing is I want everyone that is watching it is having a good time and is enjoying the podcast content, because I certainly am, and if you are, it makes my life just 10 times better. Trust me, that comes from the bottom of my heart. Anyway, let's crack on then with the match rankings. We're going to start off with number 10. Now, this one's a little bit controversial because you're thinking Jackie's only played one game in the league this season. Obviously, we have played a Carabao Cup game. I mean, it feels like 3 years ago. It was actually in the start of the season against AFC Wimbledon. He played in that game, and then he didn't play until the last one against MK Dons. So, he hasn't played since then. Sorry, he has played. Obviously, he hasn't played since Wimbledon, and then he played against MK Dons. But what a player this man is! I mean, he did come on a little bit in the game against Peterborough. I mean, he only played about 10-15 minutes, so he didn't really impact the game too much. But he definitely deserves a place in the top 10 week 1 to, I guess, 4. Probably it is about 4 weeks into the season now. Nearly a month into the season. He does fit in this place. He does fit in the first episode. He is in number 10, and that is Alex Gorin. Alex Gorin is in number 10. He's got himself a place in there for the reasons I've just said. He was fantastic against MK Dons, I thought. I don't think he got enough credit. He deserves all the credit. He was fantastic against MK Dons. I don't remember too much of the Wimbledon game. I'm not going to lie. That's a long, long time ago. Or feels like it does. It's really not that long, but it does feel like a long. I can't really remember exactly how the game went. I mean, we'd won on penalties, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember his performance individually, but I'm sure he was a big impact in that. And I'm sure he definitely will continue to be a big impact for Oxford United, as he has been last season. He definitely deserves a place. I mean, there are players that have played nearly every minute of this season that aren't actually in the rankings, and this player's played basically one league game of the season, or one and a bit, and is in the top 10 rankings. But he definitely deserves it. Alex Gorin, you are in number 10, my friend. Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is Sean Clare. Again, a difficult one, this, and it is a difficult one, sort of doing a ranking show for Oxford United so far this season, because there haven't been any sort of, I mean, there have been some really good performances, but there hasn't been any sort of this would be made much easier if every player had been fantastic, but not every one of these players have been fantastic, and the players I'm about to list in this order, some of them will be thinking, Jack, Clare had an awful game in some games, and he really did, but he's also shown some great improvement and has actually been a really, really good player at times for Oxford United this season. And we have to remember as well, this player's never played right back before. I'm guessing I'm saying that from a professional level. Anyway, and he's come into this side, and I think at times, yes, he has been a little bit off it a little bit. He has sort of looked a little bit out of his depth at times, I thought. But generally, I thought Clare has done really, really well this season. So Clare is in the top 10. He's in number 9. He deserves it because I definitely think he's adapting well. He's a powerful, quick lad. He just needs to sort of work on his position a little bit. I think positionally at the moment, he can be a little bit all over the shop. Sometimes he can be, sometimes he could go a bit AWOL, and we sort of have a simple pass from an attacker from an opposition, sort of sliding the ball in. A little bit like MK Dons, I think it was from his side. Yeah, the cross came in, and he wasn't there. If he is there, that cross doesn't come in. And their goal can sort of, I guess, maybe be prevented. So there is a lot of work for Clare still to do, but he's not a complete right back. He definitely is in the number 10. He's improved, and he's in number 9. So Clare, you're in number 9. You've made it into number 9. I think you should be happy with that. So Moore has got Moore's not in the next one. Moore is in the number 10, but I've completely messed it up. He is in the top 10. He's not the next one though. The next one, number 8. Is going to be Mark Sykes. So, Mark Sykes has played a lot of games for Oxford United this season. He has missed, I think he missed one. I think he was dropped for one game or 1 or 2 games. The reason why Mark Sykes is in that is in that top 10 is because he's very, very, I'd say, consistent. And the reason why I say consistent is because you don't have a horrific game with Mark Sykes. You sort of know what you're going to get. You're going to get a player that isn't the quickest, but it certainly isn't slow. He's good with his feet, and he also has, I think he started the season fairly well, to be honest. I thought he did have a really good game against MK Dons as well. I thought a lot of it went under the swept under the carpet, I thought. But to be honest with you, I think he did have a decent game. I think his passing was really, really good. I thought his dribbling was top quality, and I thought he did sort of open things up for Oxford United when we needed it to. We need more from Mark Sykes. I do think playing that more attacking role, central attacking role, to the left side role, sort of suits him a little bit better. He has sort of played in the left-hand side role when he's played under Carl Robinson a lot, and now he's only recently sort of come back into the central role. He can play both, to be honest with you. He is in that number 10. He is in that top 10. He's number 8 today, or this week, and whether or not he'll go up or go down, I'm not sure, because I can't tell you what his performance is going to do in the future. Hopefully they're good. He is in number 8 for me. Number 7. is Rob Atkinson. He is our number 7 in this ranking list, in the top 10 for this week. The reason why he's got a 7, or is in number 7, is because I guess he has missed a few games this season, and it looks like he probably is going to miss the next game as well, against Charlton on Tuesday. Whether or not he's fit, he's a bit of a doubt for that one. But I think when Rob Atkinson has come in, you have to remember where he's come from. This player was from playing for North Lee only about 2 seasons ago. I mean, for half of last season he was, I'd say. And he's only just come in. You know, there's a big step from North Lee in the National League, non-league football, to come in into top end League One football. You've got to. That is a big step up. And I think I don't think he's actually at any point to me been like, that's the sign of a a non-league player. I don't think there's ever been a point where that's happened. I actually think that he probably could be. I think he is a player that is really, really comfortable at this level. And I was a bit surprised, to be honest, because I didn't think it was going to be like that. I didn't think it was. I thought Rob Atkinson had the potential to do that. I think we all did. But I think, to be honest, I've never heard of him before. He came into this side. He came in the middle of last season in January, then got loaned back, and then we record him when there was an injury to one of our centre-halves. I think it was Massinho. And he's come in and done a really, really good job this season. His running out of defence is top quality. He literally created a goal against MK Dons, but he ran out of it, passed it out wide. That is a real talent to have that. You've got to play with confidence to do that as well. Because if you lose that ball, you're putting your whole team and yourself in real danger there, or potential danger for sure. I think he's very quick. I think he's strong. I think he's good in the air, and he can pass out, and he can he play out as well. I think he did get sent off in the first game of the season. I think it was against Lincoln. That was obviously rescinded and taken away, which was warranted. I don't think it was a red card. He has still got a little bit of maturing to do, but that's going to happen with a player like with Rob Atkinson. He's still quite young. I think Rob Atkinson has got a really, really exciting future ahead of himself as a footballer, and hopefully Oxford United. That's why he's in number 10, in the top 10 and in number 7. I think he could be up there and continue to go up this season if he stays fit, of course. There's been a few times this season, injury-wise, where he hasn't been able to play. If he can stay fit and consistently, improve every single time as well, and be consistent, I can see him move up this rankings as the season goes on. But for now, he is in number 7. So that means after 7, of course, it is 6. That is how numbers work, and that is going to be his Rob Atkinson's defensive partner, Elliot Moore. Now, you're probably going to be thinking, Jack, Elliot Moore in number 6. Has he done that well? Why is he better than Rob Atkinson? And to be honest with you, I think it's generally because I think Elliot Moore has been very, very consistent. He's played every minute so far this season, and he's been extremely consistent when he has played as well. I don't remember a time where Elliot Moore, to be honest with you, has messed up for Oxford this season. I think all of the problems that have happened defensively, really, and why we look so shaky defensively, is because of the fullbacks. I think the fullbacks have been a reason why we haven't been so well. I don't think the centre backs have been too much of a reason. Hence why only one of the fullbacks are in the top 10 this week, and that is it. And he is in number 9. And that's where both centre backs are in number 6 and 7, because I don't think they've been fantastic. They're not in top 5. I don't think Elliot Moore is in top 5. I don't think he should think he's in top 5. You have to remember as well, he swapped sides. He used to be playing on the right. He's now playing on the left. He used to be playing on the left, he's now playing on the right. Rob Atkinson has been a player that's come in and actually changed the position of Elliot Moore. He's playing on the other side. He used to be with the other side with Rob Dickey. He's now switched those sides round now, and he's playing in a new position. A lot of people say it's not really a new position, it's still centre-half. But moving from a left to a right, or a right to a left in centre-half does make a difference, because you've got to sort your feet in out and your footwork to pass it out and play it out. And especially if you're a sort of a ball-playing centre-half, which I do see Moore and Atkinson as being them, and specifically Moore being quite a ball-playing player, you've got to be able to play on you've got to be quite comfortable in the positions, in one of the left or the right positions, wherever you're playing, to pass that ball out with your weaker foot or stronger foot as well. So it is a difference, it is a change, and I do think Elliot Moore is continuously improving. I think he has had to step up this season because he hasn't got Dickey there as cover now. He is sort of now playing the leader role in that back line. He is sort of having to order that back line because Atkinson's new to this, Claire's new to this, and I guess he is playing with Ruffles as well, sort of on that left side. But no, I think Moore's done fantastically well this season. Well, not fantastically well, I use that a lot, but I mean, he has done well this season so far. He hasn't been fantastic. He hasn't, aerially scored a goal from a header yet. So I am looking to that because he is a real threat from corners. I think he's been pretty decent this season. I've got him in 6 so far on the rankings. He could move up those rankings, like I said, and how I have said through the ranking show today, or I can move down as well. You have to remember that. But he's in number 6 to start with, so I think he's going to be pretty happy with that. Solid Elliot Moore. He's quite consistent as well. I'll move on from that, but he is quite consistent as well. He tends to have just generally very, very good games. He doesn't tend to have a very bad game. And like I said, none of the mistakes really defensively have really come from the centre-backs, and in particular, Elliot Moore in this case. So, moving on to number 5 then. Who is our number 5? I can tell you our number 5 is, and that is Daniel Adjei. A player that last season, I don't think we could have anyone have thought he'd be in the top 10 last season. He probably wouldn't be he probably wouldn't be in my top 10 last season throughout the whole season, and he's in number 5 already in this first week of doing it. Of course, it isn't the first week we're judging it on. We're judging it on all the weeks previous, but this is the first week of the ranking show. So that's why Adjei is in number 5. And the reason also I think Adjei's number 5 is, again, he wasn't a big player for Oxford United really last season. And he's turned up this season, played on that left-hand side or the right-hand side, whichever way. Normally it's the left, and he's taken that opportunity with 2 hands, grabbed it, and gone with it. We have got Shodipo coming in, he probably will be starting on the left. I can probably see him start against Charlton, but that isn't the point. We're on about Dan Adjei and what he's done in that position. He has sort of grabbed that opportunity that Carl Robson's doesn't normally give him, but he has given him. He's grabbed that and he's gone with it, and that's what I like about Dan Adjei. What he offers for a player is actually really, really good and very underrated, I'd say. That's why he's number 5, because what he is he's very powerful, he's not slow, he's very quick as well, and he's got a decent shot on him as well. He's got quite good feet. He does turn slightly slower. He's not the most agile player that you'll see play on a football pitch, but what Dan Adjei does give you is hard work. He'd always want to be part of the action. He is a really hard-working footballer, and that's why he's in number 5. He's got a goal this season as well, which I guess is a positive. It could have been a more important goal. Obviously, it was the sort of a consolation goal, it turned out to be, but it got us back in the game, I guess. Obviously, we couldn't capitalise on that, but he's got a goal this season. He's looked good. He's taken the opportunity with 2 hands, and he's improved. He's improved from last season, in my opinion. He's been really, really good. I've been impressed with Dan Adjei, and that's why he's in number 5 in this week's rankings. So, moving on then to number 4. We're moving through this list thick and fast, and this player again is somebody at the start of last season, certainly in the first half of the season, up until January for sure, I didn't think was going to be anywhere near Oxford United's top 10. For a long time, didn't think this player would step foot really on a pitch for Oxford United often at all. But this season, this player has again taken the opportunity of, I guess, injuries of others, and taken the opportunity to come into this team with 2 hands, grasp it, and very, very solid. Now, I have been a little bit critical of Sam Long. I'm not going to lie. Surprise, surprise. I've just completely spoiled it for you. Sam Long is in number 4 in this week's rankings. And I have been a little bit critical of him. But what I have never been too critical of is the hard work, and I guess the fact he can sort of fill in anywhere just is absolutely fantastic. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play centre-back. He's probably going to have to play centre-back against Charlton on Tuesday night. But already this season, he's played in centre-back, left-back and right-back. And we're only, 6 or 7 games in. I completely forgotten. I keep forgetting how many games we've played this season, because we've had 2 postponed, or 3 if you count the sort of the rearranged game. As well. I mean, it is crazy. We've got games coming out of our games everywhere at the moment, and I've forgotten how many games we've played. We've only played 6 games. Some teams have played 8. We've only played 6 games this season, and he's played in left back, right back, and centre back. Remember, this player Sam Long actually started as centre back. I didn't know this. He started as a centre back for Oxford United, then moved out at right back, which is where I think most of us knew him playing most comfortably before at right back. And then he's been playing left back and then back at centre back this season as well. He deserves number 4. Probably not because he's been the most talented player and the most, unbelievably you wouldn't go, who's your best player at Oxford United? Sam Long. And he wouldn't be our 4th best player anyway. But off performance, because this is what the ranking show is all about. It's all about performance and what they've done for the team so far this season. He has to be up there, and that's why he's in number 4. Because without Sam Long, we've been in a whole lot of trouble. We haven't got, backup at left back and right back. That's what Sam Long's job is. We haven't got great backup at centre back either, and that's what Sam Long's doing as well. And he hasn't really made a big mistake that's cost us games either. He's been very, very solid, Sam Long, and that's why he's in number 4. That is why the ranking show is going to see whether he's consistent, because Sam Long tends to be quite consistent. That's what the ranking show is all about. Does he move up? Does he move down? We'll have to find out. But he's in number 4, so he's in a very good position for Sam Long, a position that I didn't think he'd ever be in if we were going to rank players in the Oxford rankings. But this is where he is right now. Sam Long, you're in number 4. Take it or leave it, really. Next season, in the next few games going, through the season, will he go up, will he go down? We can only find out. It does sort of come down, really, to how our defensive players stay fit. If they're not fit, and Sam Long's probably going to come in there and come into the positions and do a good job. And in that case, he might go in up and down in the rankings there as well. But Sam Long, you are in number 4. Now, number 3, the bronze medal. Who has got it? And this player has actually been, and I'd say probably is the most talented, one of the most talented players at Oxford United, and that is Matty Taylor. He's in number 3. Now, not really, because I guess it's quite strange, this one, because in terms of player ratings after the games as well, I haven't tend to always give him some of the best ratings. I did actually give him man of the match in the last one against MK Dons. He did get a goal as well, and he was really, really good at pressing. And he is a hard worker, Matty Taylor. He's a fantastic finisher in that. And that's why he's in number 3. He's already got 3 goals this season. The goals he took against Accrington was, top-class finishes. They were fantastic finishes. That one where he took it down on the volley, that is a fantastic finish. Not easy at all. And that goal against MK was a big, big goal as well. He had to be there to score it, and he scored the goal as well. He is number 3. He's been a good player so far this season. Not the best player. I think we can get more out of him. But again, it does come down to the service as well. He's a striker, so he doesn't get good service. He's not going to score goals. So Matty Taylor, you're in number 3. He can definitely move up to being one of the best players this season. That'll come with goals, and that'll come with service. And talking of service, I don't think there's a better player to talk about service, especially specifically with Matty Taylor, who is in number 3, and this player is in number 2, and that is James Henry, the captain this season. It was going to be Brannigan, of course, and then Brannigan hasn't played much this season, to be honest with you, with multiple different sort of injuries. And sort of Henry has taken that captaincy, and I think done very, very well with it. And that's why he's in number 2. I think he's been very consistent. I think some of the balls he can put in, the passing of this player, I guess the finishing as well. We haven't seen him do any of his unbelievable strikes yet, which I know we can see from him. But this player is always fantastic for Oxford United. He has been since he's come here, and he continues to do that as well. To take the captain, to be the captain this season as well, I guess is an achievement on his own. Congratulations to him. But for that, I think James Henry has always been fantastic for Oxford United, and I think will continue to be fantastic for Oxford United. That's why he's in number 2 in the rankings this week. Nothing much to say. He's fantastic. He's a great player for Oxford United. Always has been, and hopefully always will be. But I guess we say always will be. We'll find out, because as the season goes on, we'll find out if he goes up or he goes down. Hopefully, James Henry, for him and us as fans as well, can continue to do what he's done this season. Be a great captain, a great leader on the pitch as well. The experience he offers and the delivery of a ball, and just generally the footballing ability of a genius, I'd say. I mean, I might be taking it a bit too far. He's played in League One for Oxford United, but a great player, that's what I'm trying to say. Henry, you're in number 2. You've got a silver medal in this week's ranking so far this season. Moving on to the top spot. Who has got it? I mean, there's some players that haven't been in it. You're thinking, if they haven't won it, they're not in the rankings. Now, there are a few players that haven't been named in the top 10 ranking. They can still be in there as well. There's nothing stopping them from taking the spot. So I'm going to spoil it now. Brannigan's not a number 1, which means he's not in the top 10. Some people may argue with that, but he hasn't played a lot of games this season, and when he has played, he hasn't been unbelievable. And he hasn't played many games. Mostly that's the reason. He hasn't played many games this season, and we don't know how many he's going to get soon. So he's not in at number 10. But if he plays against Charlton, if his eye infection sorts out and he recovers from that and he plays against Charlton and scores a hat-trick or is fantastic in midfield or gets loads of assists or something like that, or he just has a solid game, there's nothing stopping from next week, him being in the 5th and all the other players dropping down or other players dropping, coming up as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So he might not be in the top 10 this week, but next week he could be in there as well. That's what's fantastic about the Oxford United ranking show. Players can go up and down. Unbelievable. Like an escalator. It's like a lift. They can go up, they can come down. They can go to... a player could have an awful... this player could, get sent off and he's not in the top 10. He could be number 4. Sam Long, if he gets sent off against Charlton after the cost of the game, he might not be in next week. And that gives an opportunity for another player to come in as well. That is what's so fantastic about the rankings. Which means number 1 is, again, a player that I don't think last season... he's literally set his career at Oxford United on fire. He didn't play him too much of a part last season. He hasn't played. Didn't think he played much of a part this season. And that player is Anthony Ford. He's number 1. Now, I don't think a lot of people are giving this man credit, or enough credit. But what this player has done for Oxford United since he's come into this team is he's just given everything he possibly can. Just with 2 hands, he's grabbed it and he said, I'm playing in midfield. The gaffer's trusted me. The gaffer's putting me in here, and I'm going to prove to it. He had a game against Watford, and he was fantastic. He was superb. And Carl Robinson, rightfully so, said, you're going to play. You're going to play on Saturday. I think it was against Accrington. And you're going to tell everybody why you should be in the starting lineup more often. You're going to play in midfield like you wanted to, like what you did in Watford, against Watford, and you're going to do that. And since then, he's gone from strength to strength. And I'm gutted he's injured at the moment. I don't know whether or not he'll be able to for Charlton. It's a bit of a doubt at the moment. Hopefully he is, because he's such an important player for Oxford United so far this season, has been. So hopefully he can stay fit, and hopefully he can be fit. Anthony Ford's been fantastic this season. That's all I've got to say. The delivery into the box has been world class. The passing has been absolutely top quality. This player is the package, and hopefully he stays fit, and hopefully he continues to be a great player for Oxford United this season. He sort of re-erected his career at Oxford United this season, and hopefully he can continue. You know, I mean, he can't get higher than number 1 in the rankings, but he can stay there. That's what I'm going to say. He can stay at number 1. He's got a good shout for being a big player this season. Now, he is injured at the moment. He is a bit of a doubt. So, you know, if he does get injured, doesn't play, he probably won't be number 1, or won't be number 1. I probably won't be keeping a player at number 1 if they haven't played, unless all the other players have been abysmal. But, yeah, let's see what happens. But Anthony Ford, you are so far in the Oxford rankings, the Oxford United ranking show, you are number 1. For the other players as well that aren't in the number 10, you've got to get in there. And for the players that are already in number 10, in the top 10, they've got a chance to get up there as well. Hopefully you like the concept of this. I think so. I like the idea, but you know, I like my ideas, so that's just the way it is. Hopefully you like the idea of the concept. That's the main thing. Hopefully, you know, I want you to enjoy it as well. Of course I do. I guess it's sort of an idea because I've always wanted to do sort of like player ratings, but I haven't really been given the opportunity to do that in the match reactions because I spent so long speaking about the actual game that I haven't really got onto the match reactions. I have done, but they've been about 3 minutes of the episode of the podcast right at the end where maybe not many people are watching. Now this is an opportunity where we can speak about all the performances over the week, every week, and we have a ranking list as well, so we can measure the consistency of the players, who's doing very well, who needs to step up, all those sort of things as well, which is really, really good. So it's now got its own show in the podcast called the Oxford United Ranking Show. Hopefully you like it. Tell people about it, because this could flop. Hopefully it doesn't, because I like it. It's got a decent idea to it. Hopefully you see that as well. This has been the Young Fan Podcast, the new show, the Oxford United Ranking Show. Like I said, hopefully you have enjoyed it. And I'm actually going away for a few days, like I said, as well. So the ranking show, I will be watching the game, but whether or not I'll be able to get a match reaction out, I'm not too sure. There will be a preview, because I'm about to record it straight after this. For the Charlton game as well, but those rankings next week. We've got Fleetwood as well, so that does mean we'll have Fleetwood and Charlton. Hopefully, if they continue and do happen, that will be the next set of games for the next week's rankings. Hopefully, you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Something very, very different, something we haven't done before, but something that hopefully we will continue to do as the season goes on as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll see you later.